Hi again, it's me, AZC2, and today I'm going to talk about a very confidential matter. Okay. Basically, it involves a lie told by Sengkang GRC MP Raeesah Khan regarding a sexual assault victim whom she accompanied to make a police report, and that the police allegedly didn't take the victim seriously, even going as far as to comment on the fact that she was drunk and what she was wearing when she was sexually assaulted. Now, it was proven to be a lie, as Raeesah merely read about that in a sexual assault forum, and it had opened up her own wounds to the time when she was sexually assaulted when she was 18 years old in a foreign country. I mean, I would say she had the right intentions, but her approach was just plain wrong. And well, she had to pay the price for her serious fuck up. At the end of the day, she had to resign from her post as a member of parliament. Otherwise, her party would be dragged down, and they may even lose all their seats in 2024. Which, well, if it happens, would be the end of Singapore as we know it. We're back to the bad old days in 1963. When PAP had a clean sweep of all the seats when Barisan Socialists decided to resign from parliament en masse. Many have compared Pritam Singh's approach to what his predecessor Lau Thia Kiang did back in 2012 when Hougang MP Yaw Shin Leong was implicated in an extramarital affair with a fellow party member. Well, the dear leader had acted decisively by relieving Yao of all his positions in the party's executive committee and subsequently expelling him within a few days. I mean, the WP has certainly recovered from that incident. In fact, they even performed up to their usual standards during the by-election in Hougang, with Peng Eng Huat securing the seat for Workers' Party and Desmond Chu, failing to get another crack at the seat for PAP. He was subsequently redeployed to Tampines GRC, where he remains to this day. Peng Eng Huat went on to serve for another 2 terms as Hougang MP before he retired last year. His position in parliament is now taken up by Dennis Tan. Immediately after Raeesah's resignation, WP announced that her division of Compassvale will be dissolved into the other 3 wards, and her job would be split up between the remaining MPs in the GRC, namely He Ting-ru, James Lim, and Louis Chua. As we all know, Sengkang is a bellwether seat. Like in the past, part of Sengkang was under Punggol East, which was held by Michael Palmer until his resignation following an extramarital affair in 2013. Li Lian captured the seat for WP, but she subsequently lost her position in 2015, with Charles Chong claiming victory for PAP. Unfortunately, Charles Chong was proven to be dishonest. In fact, he even lied about his health, and he subsequently retired in 2020. And Raymond Lai was his successor in what is now the Rivervale division of Sengkang. the Sengkang GRC team comprised of Lai, as well as incumbent Dr. Lam Pin Min from Sengkang West, and Minister Ng Chi Meng, and Amrin Amin, who had been drafted in from Sembawang GRC. Amrin was there as the minority candidate, as the constitution said Sengkang GRC needed to have a Malay candidate. The WP fielded Raeesah Khan as its Malay candidate, even though technically she isn't a real Malay but a Pashtun. Her father Farid Khan, who unsuccessfully ran for president in 2017, hails from Pakistan, and in Pakistan has a large number of Pashtuns, and many of them have the family name Khan, like Imran Khan, who is the current Prime Minister of Pakistan. Farid Khan was running for presidency as a Malay, but he was subsequently disqualified under really dubious circumstances, so that Halimah Yacob herself, not even a pure-blood Malay, could be elevated to the position. Like, anyone who claims to be Malay should be DNA tested to see if they have any close relation to Sang Nila Utama. Just because you happen to be a Muslim and you speak fluent Bahasa Melayu doesn't mean you are an actual Malay. But anyways, Raeesah was there as a minority candidate, but even though she will resign in disgrace, there's no requirement for a by-election, just as there was no requirement for a by-election in Marsiling UT GRC when Halimah Yacob vacated her seat to become the President of Singapore. WP has split Raeesah's workload between the remaining 3 MPs, and they've also put in Faisal Manap, who is the party's vice chairman, as well as the member for Kaki Bukit division of Aljunied GRC, as a grassroots advisor there. In the past, PAP had drafted in Zaki Muhammad from Kiat Hong Ward of Choa Chu Kang GRC to stand in as a grassroots advisor in the Marsiling division of Marsiling UT GRC after Halimah's seat became vacant. This was not what Choa Chu Kang residents voted for. They voted for a part-time MP to be there for them, not to divide his time between Kiat Hong and Marsiling. And so, in 2020, he was officially named as the candidate for Marsiling UT GRC, with Zulkarnain Rahim taking over as the MP for Kiat Hong Ward. If we go back even further to 1999, Chu Wee Kiang, who was the member for Whampoa Ward in Jalan Besar GRC, was convicted of fraud and subsequently sent to prison. As a result, he had to vacate his seat, but there was no by-election held there, despite the non-constituency MP JB Jeyaratnam saying that the GRC is meant to have 4 people and 1 man is down, so they need to fill his position, and the most logical way to fill that spot is through a by-election. Yes, Jeyaratnam does have a point, but the rule book says that there's no requirement for a by-election in a GRC because the workload can be split between the other members. The PAP's subsequent action was to parachute in Heng Chi Hao, whom Lau Tia Kiang had defeated in the 1997 general election in Aokang, to stand in as a grassroots advisor in Jalan Besar GRC. Subsequently, in 2001, Heng was fielded as a candidate for Whampoa division of Jalan Besar GRC, and he has remained there ever since. There's no reason why the WP can't parachute in Azhar Latif from Marine Parade GRC to run Meet the People session in Compassville. There's no real need for them to dissolve the Compassville ward into the other 3 wards until the 2024, because they could have done what PAP did in 1999, that is to bring in Azhar Latif as a grassroots advisor to running Meet the People sessions. Like the residents of Compassville can bring their concerns to him, and Azhar can just pass it on to his 9 other party colleagues who are in parliament, and they will raise the matter in parliament. No big deal, really. The problem is that the PAP controls the entire grassroots and the trade union movement. They have co-opted the People's Association and the National Trade Union Congress directly under the control of the party. In that respect, they are no different from communists. They are no different from the Workers' Party of Korea, in effect. An opposition MP, despite being elected, can't serve as a grassroots advisor, which is bullshit. Because it allows the losing candidate for PAP to maintain his influence and to confuse the residents, thinking that he is their MP, not the person they voted for. My hat's off to SDP and PSP, as well as WP's East Coast and Marine Parade volunteers, who have continued walking the ground tirelessly in their respective divisions despite heavy defeats in the past. They should never give up. The only way forward is to pick themselves up following a crushing defeat and to press on. Perhaps one day the residents in those areas will be converted and they would vote them into parliament. It makes sense for Azhar Latif to be fielded in 2024 in Sengkang, because he definitely will win. It's like the residents there, I'm sure they knew Raeesah wasn't an evil person by nature. I mean, her comments about City Harvest Church were quite valid, because one of the judges himself said that the sentences given to Kong Hee and his accomplices was too light. Yes, Kong Hee had Edwin Tong, who is now a minister, as his defense lawyer, but even then he failed to get off the hook. Prosecutor Mavis Cheon certainly has SDP material written all over her face, but unfortunately, being a civil servant, she's not allowed to be involved with SDP in any capacity, which is a waste, because SDP could use someone like her in their ranks. And as for what Raeesah said about rich Chinese and Caucasians, well, PRCs have been given a really easy ride when it comes to getting citizenship in Singapore, especially the rich and wealthy ones like the boss of Hai Di Lao. And also when it comes to Western expatriates, the people of Singapore, you still look up to them like it's back in the colonial days. They haven't learned to stand up for themselves like the PRC has learned to stand up to American and British aggression. Okay. Well, and also, you know, minorities feel that Chinese have a certain privilege because the Chinese have the numbers. The Chinese in Singapore are like the whites in America. Like there are similarities between Singapore and America in that the indigenous people of both countries are the minority. It can't be helped that the Malays and the Indians feel that Chinese have privilege. It just can't be helped. For that reason, we need to have critical race theory being taught in Singapore. There's no other way. If Raeesah hadn't been dogged by scandal, she would be able to serve her full term and she'll be able to push for critical race theory to be taught in Singapore. She has a lot of good, brilliant ideas and she is no doubt talented. But it's all gone to waste now. But I'm sure the Workers' Party can pick themselves up and come back stronger like they did after the Yaw Shin Leong affair in 2012. I look forward to seeing the Workers' Party retain Sengkang GRC in 2024 with Azhar Lateef in their lineup. And I hope they have a better East Coast plan than Heng Swee Keat. On this note, I'm signing off. Good night, everyone.